Hi, today we will begin book 3, IELTS book 3, speaking test 1. So, before I go on to the test 1 and start answering, I would like to ask all my viewers to comment on this video and subscribe to the channel. I will be picking up viewers with whom I will do a free speaking session which will help you improve your speaking. So looking forward to a lot of comments on the video. So let's start with book 3, speaking test 1. Alright, so the questions here are, the first section, the part 1 says, let's talk about family. So the question is, you can see the question on your screen as well. The question is, do you have a large family or a small family? Well, I have a nuclear family. My family comprises of my daughter, my husband and me. Unlike many other joint families, we prefer to stay in a nuclear family. Next question. Can you tell me something about them? I would love to talk about them and tell you a lot of things about them. My kid is 5 years old. She is very notorious. She studies in the nursery. My husband works as an architect, and I am an IELTS coach with and also with a lot of expertise on immigration and support to study abroad students. Next question. How much time do you manage to spend with members of your family? Well, since I am a consultant and I work as a freelancer, I get a lot of time to spend with my family, and I love to do so. We also spend a lot of time on the weekend doing a lot of fun activities. Next question. What sort of things do you like to do together? When we have time, we love to go out to watch movies. We like to fine dine. Also, we like to enjoy certain sports activities, which includes swimming, which also includes playing badminton. We also like to go on long drives. So these are the activities that we enjoy doing together. Next question. Do you get along well with your family? Yes, I do get along well with my family. I love all my family members. Having said that, each one of us has a very strong opinion on certain topics that we discuss and debate. Difference in opinion is respected and considered wisely. We get along well, and we do allow each one of us to have their own thought process. So that covers the part 1 of test 1 of book 3. Now we'll move on to the cue card. Alright, the cue card is visible on your screen. The question is, describe a teacher who has influenced you in your education. You should say where you met them, what subject they taught, what was special about them, and explain why this person influenced you. Alright, nice question. So as I always advise, when you're doing a cue card, don't abruptly jump into the sub questions. Give an initial build up, give some introduction, talk in general a bit on that topic, of course, before you start answering. And as you cover up the sub questions, of course, do end it properly. Give a proper conclusion. Do not end it abruptly. That is also very important. The conclusion has to be proper, so the examiner has to understand that now you are concluding the answer. So let's start. There are several teachers who influenced me throughout my life. I was not a brilliant student. I required a lot of coaching. Several teachers have been very patient and have been a great support for me in my educational life. Many have been a great influencers for me. Today, I would like to talk about a teacher that I feel uh, has put a. Today, I would like to talk about a teacher who inspired me a lot and who influenced me a lot in my education. I met her in my secondary section of schooling. I remember my first interaction with that teacher. When she entered our classroom, she introduced herself to us as our social studies teacher. I was quite afraid of social studies as it was a new topic for us in our secondary section. Also, I was not good at memorizing dates. Neither was I ever interested in history and the wars fought in the ancient eras. So, the introduction of this teacher to me was more of a scare about the subject that she is going to teach. Also, as she introduced herself, I recollect that she also said that she was the head of the secondary section. So that scared me more. As I started attending her lectures, I understood that she was a very methodical teacher. She taught history with a lot of passion and interest. She narrated the historical episodes in a very dramatic manner, which made the subject highly interesting. We never felt as if we were studying. We felt as if she was narrating a story to us, and we experienced it as a story which we felt was happening live in front of us with her dramatic explanations. Knowing that we were a class of notorious students and we were also not good in concentration, she involved us in the subject by making us do role plays of the historical events and the historical leaders. That interest all of us a lot. We did not enjoy the traditional teaching of uh, reading out from the books or we did not enjoy her teaching through the blackboard. However, we enjoyed the role plays that she asked us to perform. We enjoyed her dramatic narration, and this is how all of us expertised in this subject that she taught us. She also took our extra class to ensure that none of us failed in her subject. It makes me feel glad as I tell you that our entire class passed out with flying colors in her subject. Her efforts had not gone waste. She made a special impression on all of us as she made us realize that any subject or anything in life, if it is done with interest, you could come out with flying colors. You would definitely succeed. She had a solution based approach to every problem. She understood that our class was notorious and lacked concentration, and she involved us in the studies by making us enact the historical leaders. We enjoyed it so much. We remember teasing each other with the name of these historical leaders that we enacted on. As we wrote our answer sheets, we did not have to revise. We remembered the role plays that we participated in. This teacher influenced me a lot in my life, and today I give the credit of my success to her for her approach towards the subject, which I have now imbibed in myself and made it as an approach towards life. My gratitude to her as I narrate about her in this cue card. All right, now let's move towards the third part, the follow-up section. So before I answer this, if you saw me narrate the cue card, you would have understood that I was so much in the story when I spoke about my teacher, and definitely it was a true story. So what you need to do is connect with the questions and answer it wholeheartedly. That is when you make the narration interesting, and that is where you get the right vocab that you need to express your feelings. And never mug up the answers. Okay, there are a lot of students who like to mug up the answers and speak it out in the cue card, but that won't help because it is going to be more of a dialogue and a communication. So be natural, talk with feelings, do not speak robotically, and use words to communicate your expression to the examiner. That really works well. All right, having said that, let's move to the third section. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget to leave your name and number. I will do a free speaking session with you if I like your comment. So do utilize this facility, and I hope you will get good marks in IELTS. Well, follow-up section now. Let's start. All right. The question is pertaining to development in education. Okay. How has education changed in the last 10 years in your country? In my country, in the last 10 years, education has adopted a lot of technical advancement. Students have moved from the hard copy books to e-books. Students have also started carrying tablets to their schools and colleges. So I see my country becoming more tech-oriented when it comes to education. And I think this is a good progress. What changes do you foresee in education in the next 50 years? I see a lot of changes in the education system in the next 50 years. I'm sure with the help of artificial intelligence and robotics, a lot of teaching work will be done by robots. A lot of teaching work will happen online on the digital platform. Also, I think the institutions such as schools will dissolve and and they will shift more towards the digital mode of educating students, which will lessen the number of students physically going to the schools or to the institutions. They will have the freedom of learning through the digital medium. So I foresee that in the next 50 years, with lesser number of actual teachers involved in teaching and more digital exploitation of more digital resources in the next 50 years. All right, next section. This talks about national education system. The question is, how do the expectation of today's school leavers compared with those of previous generation? Today's school leavers have a lot of expectation from their institute. They expect to have a great convocation ceremony, a great send-off ceremony. They are looking at a lot of extracurricular benefits. And they are also looking at a guaranteed admission to their next courses. However, in the previous generation, the students were more focused on getting the appropriate education rather than getting additional benefits. So I think this generation has become more demanding with respect to an all-round development from the institute that they go to. All right, next question. What role do you think extracurricular activities play in education? Extracurricular activities play a very important, a very vital role when it comes to education. Every student desires to develop his personality. They want to be an all-rounder, and extracurricular activities give them this platform. A student always realizes whether he has his inclination towards arts, sports, or any other vocational skill only through extracurricular activities. So I think it is highly essential for every institution to have ample scope for extracurricular activities. Okay, next question. We will now discuss about the different methods of teaching and learning. Okay, what method of learning works best for you? I think for me, the video aids works best when it comes to learning. I enjoy watching a lot of documentaries. I enjoy watching a lot of visual aids which help me understand the concept well, and that is how I love to learn. Having said that, I am also fine with the traditional method of learning, which involves holding a book and reading it, or the traditional blackboard method of learning also works very well for me. So I think I am quite comfortable with different methods of learning. Next question: how beneficial do you think it is to group students according to their level of ability? I think it is not an ideal scenario to group students as per their level of ability, because when you group them in a cluster of students who are either extremely intelligent or who are either extremely creative, I think we are limiting them. The group has to be a mix of creative students, intellectual students, non-performing students, because here the student interacts with each other and learns a lot. They also learn to coach each other, guide each other, and mentor each other. And I think it is always good to group students, to have a mixed group of students rather than grouping them on their levels of ability, because this will definitely limit them and not allow them to grow beyond their own perspective. That ends the test one of book 3. I hope you found the answers useful. Having said that, do not copy paste these answers in your exam. Have your own answers. Try and be natural, try and be expressive, and interact with the examiner. Make your answers interesting so that the examiner enjoys it, and speak wholeheartedly. That is what works best for IELTS. And give a holistic answer. Do not give a limited answer, or do not give an answer which has which does not give a all-round perspective. So that's very important. On that note, I end this video. I am looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to for you to leave your name and number. I will give a call to each number that is left on this video and do a speaking session with my viewers. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe to the channel. Catch you later. Bye.